Okay, so have you ever found yourself in this weird spot? You absolutely know that taking care of yourself is important for your energy, your mood, everything. But when you actually go to do it, something just gets in the way. It ends up feeling like just one more chore on an endless to-do list. Well, let's get into this, because today we're going to explore exactly why that happens and how to fix it, not with more discipline, but with a whole lot more intention.
This is really the big question, isn't it? Why do we do this? We know that a quick walk would clear our head, or that 5 minutes of quiet would calm us down. Yet, we find ourselves just scrolling on our phones instead. You're not alone in this. It's a completely universal struggle. And the answer, it turns out, has very little to do with willpower. It's all about the hidden psychological roadblocks we all run into.
I bet some of these look pretty familiar. That little nagging voice of guilt telling you that you should be doing something more productive. Or that pesky perfectionism that says, hey, if I can't do a full hour of yoga, why even bother? Sometimes it's just feeling so drained and overwhelmed you don't even know where you'd possibly start. Just noticing these voices, just recognizing them, that's the real first step.
So how in the world do we get past those barriers? Well, the source material we're digging into today offers this really powerful mental shift. It's about moving away from this idea of building habits and instead focusing on creating rituals. And I know it sounds like just a small change in words, but trust me, it is a total game changer.
Think about a habit, like brushing your teeth or making that first cup of coffee in the morning. It's totally automatic, right? It runs on autopilot. You don't really think about it, you just do it. And while that's super useful for some things, it's not exactly what I'd call nourishing for the soul.
Now let's compare that to a ritual. A ritual is different. It's a deliberate, conscious act. It's something you do with intention, with meaning. It has the power to transform a simple little action into something that feels almost sacred, something truly purposeful. It's the difference between, say, mindlessly chugging your coffee while you scroll through emails and intentionally savoring that first warm, quiet sip. See the difference?
And this right here, this is the core difference in a nutshell. Habits are task-focused. It's all about just getting the thing done. But rituals, they're meaning-focused. It's about experiencing the moment. We're literally shifting from autopilot to intentional, from an unconscious action to a conscious presence. And that is how we start to actually nourish ourselves, instead of just checking another box off the list.
But here's the thing. For a ritual to actually stick, it can't just be some nice idea you have. It has to be connected to something much deeper, to what really, truly matters to you. In other words, it needs a why. Now, this is so important. A ritual just for the sake of doing a ritual, it's going to feel empty and you'll probably stop doing it pretty quickly. But a ritual that actually honors one of your core values, like peace or connection or creativity, well, that becomes an essential expression of who you really are.
So what does that actually look like? Well, here are just a few examples. Maybe peace is a huge core value for you. Your ritual could be 5 minutes of total silence before the rest of the house wakes up. Or, if creativity is your thing, maybe it's 10 minutes of journaling. You see, the ritual is the vehicle, but the value is the destination.
I want you to really take a second with this question. Think back to a time when you felt truly alive, just completely aligned. What were you doing? And more importantly, what deeper value was being met in that moment? Was it connection? Was it growth? Maybe compassion? The answer to that question holds the key to designing rituals that you'll actually want to stick with.
Okay, so we've got the concept of rituals. We know we need to connect them to our values. But what about those loud, critical voices we talked about at the beginning? Let's go ahead and tackle that inner resistance head-on, especially the two biggest culprits, guilt and perfectionism.
This is like the soundtrack of self-sabotage, isn't it? The first step is just to notice it without any judgment. Just kind of go, there's that I'm too busy voice again. Or, oh, hello there, this is selfish voice. Just by acknowledging them, you start to take away some of their power.
Yeah, guilt and perfectionism, they are often the two tallest hurdles we face. You can almost think of them as these twin dragons guarding the castle of your well-being. But the good news is, we have a strategy to get past them.
The most crucial step is to reframe these thoughts. So when that voice of guilt whispers, "This is selfish," your reframe is, "This is actually an act of service." Because you can't pour from an empty cup, right? Taking 5 minutes to recharge isn't selfish. It's what lets you be a more patient parent, a more present partner, a more focused colleague.
And for that perfectionism monster, the reframe is all about radical self-compassion. One small, imperfect step is better than no step at all. Let me say that again. A 2-minute stretch is infinitely better than the 1-hour yoga class you never actually get to. You have to give yourself permission to be imperfect.
All right, we've explored the why, and we've challenged the resistance. Now for the really fun part, the how. Let's build a super practical action plan so you can start creating these small but powerful rituals in your own life.
This table is just so incredibly helpful. It shows us how we can intercept our automatic negative reactions. So, instead of waking up with anxiety and immediately grabbing your phone, you create an intentional ritual. 5 minutes of breathing first. Instead of ending the workday feeling frustrated and just snapping at people, you light a candle to mark that transition. You're not adding more to your day. You're transforming moments you already have.
And creating your own is really simple. Just 4 steps. First, identify a need. Maybe you need more calm in the morning. Second, choose a simple action, like a good stretch. Third, add your intention. I am doing this to ground myself for the day. And fourth, and this is the most important one, practice self-compassion. If you miss a day, it's not a failure. You just begin again tomorrow. No big deal.
The absolute key here is to start small. I mean, ridiculously small. We're talking 5 minutes or less. It could be really savoring that first sip of tea, doing a quick 2-minute stretch, or taking just 1 minute to think of something you're grateful for before you fall asleep. Seriously, anybody has time for one of these.
And that's it. That's the real secret. Don't try to change your entire life overnight. Just start with one single, tiny, intentional ritual. That's all it takes.
So here is your call to action. Don't just think about this. I want you to do it. Today, pick one thing that you already do automatically. Making coffee, washing your face, opening your laptop. And just for today, infuse it with purpose. And I'll leave you with this final question to reflect on. This isn't about finding more time in your day. It's about bringing more meaning to the time you already have. So, what one small, intentional act could you introduce that would make your day feel just a little more centered, a little more peaceful, and a whole lot more yours?